Yeah, okay, so we just watched the video.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy,
That
right?
is hilarious.
It's insane. It's insane. And
I don't believe it's real. Still.
I think it's real.
I
think
mean,
it's real.
there's probably court dockets and affidavits and shit that
I
prove that it's real, but like, he
remember-
broke character.
No, dude, I think he was laughing nervously. Okay, so it gets to this point where, so the reason I bring this up is because Dr. Phil does this, I'm just gonna call him Phil, because is he even a doctor? Is he a doctor?
Yeah.
So Philip asks this kid a bunch of really intimate questions about the murder.
It starts off with just the most obvious, like the questions you don't need to ask.
Right.
Like at this point, he shows up. First of all, this kid's there in a striped prison uniform, like it's a fucking cartoon. I've never once seen that in real life. Like it's shit that was made up in cartoons.
First of all, it might be a juvie thing.
Mm-mm.
When's the last time you saw a juvie jumpsuit? I've never seen a juvie jumpsuit.
They're like fucking tan or orange.
All right.
Typically.
All right.
He shows up in stripes, black and white stripes.
You might as well have had
like he should have had the fucking hat.
A 20-pound ball.
Yeah. Jacob Marley in it.
Yeah. Okay, but I think honestly, there's something about the kid that makes it feel real, and
it's because he sounds like Buffalo, but he sounds like a serial killer.
You're right.
Everything's so perfect.
I don't know if it's fake, because I just feel like he laughs out of nervousness. So Dr. Philip asks him these questions that are really intimate and like specific. So he gets to the point where sorry, I don't know, my listeners, they're probably not gonna like me talking about this kid killing his mom, but whatever. It's about the line of questioning, because at first I was like, wow, it still is, regardless, really fucked up that this is even being publicized and on national television. Under the assumption that it is real, it's like terrible. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
and
awful,
he's
awful.
like interviewing this kid like he gives a shit. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's like, it's for views, it's for viewership.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? It's so disgusting, and I mean, we're all used to this now at this point. But I don't know. But the line of questioning at first really seems like irrelevant and very just baity, you know? But
it's so obvious.
There's something.
Where did you get the sledgehammer? Garage.
I think it's a similar line of questioning that a lot of law enforcement use.
But he's already in jail.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Law enforcement uses it.
I don't know what the punchline is on this, but it just was reminiscent of, we were talking about interviews, and anyway, I just thought it was funny, and I thought you would think it's funny.
Oh, it's so crazy.
The video starts out
is because it is like police questioning, but police question that way to catch you.
Right.
This kid's already been caught. Dr. Phil doesn't need to do that.
The video literally starts out. The first line, the first second and a half is Philip being like,
"Did you kill your mother?" And he's like, "No, I'm in this jumpsuit for fun." She's like, "Yes, we know that."
Did you kill your mom? Did you kill your mother?
Yes.
Yes.
And then, with what? Sledgehammer? Where'd you get the sledgehammer? Garage. Just so obvious.
How heavy was this? Was it a 5-pound sledgehammer?
3 pound, 5 pound.
And when you swung it, was it over the head?
Yeah. No, I bunted it. I was sending my mom into the infield.
Oh.
It's such a stupid line of questioning. You didn't get to anything.
It's terrible, dude. It's terrible.
So bad. And then he's like, "What did it sound like?" Then the kid goes, "It was like a soft squishing noise," and he laughs.
He laughs a little bit.
And if it's real, he's insane. But it makes him seem like he's breaking character.
If it's real, it seems like he's poor. Poor kid, kind of, in the sense that he's being put on the spotlight and obviously needs some intense psychological help. But he's laughing if it's real, he's laughing because he's uncomfortable with Philip being a dickhead. You know what I mean?
It's just like it all washed over him. Like he was
It's
like,
like-
"This is a shit interview."
Yeah,
When
it's terrible.
CNN came.
Did
to
you have
interview me?
forensic science in school?
No, not
Dude.
in high school.
Oh my god, I did. It was so sick.
Was it an elective or did you have to take forensic
It
science?
was an elective, I think, but it was so sick, and we did a whole segment on serial killers. Fascinating.
Oh yeah,
Fascinating.
I heard a thing. Now I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
Listen to me.
We're both idiots.
Yeah, we're just talking.
Both a couple of.
But I have heard that most male serial killers, they're mostly male anyway, are
Yeah.
usually heavy brain damage and molested as a child. Like that's the perfect recipe for a grown-up serial killer.
That's terrible.
Oh, it's awful. It's this weird like cycle continues,
Yeah.
cyclical damaging of people.
Yes.
Ugh.
There's. Yeah, I mean, we could get into it. It's. Everyone's human at the end of the day, guys. Am I wrong? We're all very malleable.
Mm.
Everyone gets to where they're at some way, somehow, right?
Yeah.
Poor Dahmer.
The poor that poor guy. That poor man.
Poor man.
He did nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong, dude.
Poor Dahmer.
Jeez.
That's the fun thing. I don't understand people. I don't understand. Have you ever come across someone that's so perfect that you're like, oh, like Dahmer too? Like that's a serial killer.
What do you mean?
Like they're the perfect amount of attractive. Usually men, perfect amount
Oh,
of.
Dahmer
attractive.
was hot.
Yeah, like Dahmer.
He was a hot boy.
He was attractive enough. He's not fucking shredded. He's not out here
Right.
Thor. Like he's not overdoing it. He's not doing steroids.
Right.
Good looking,
Yes.
sure, you know.
Yeah.
And then they're super nice, you know,
Yes.
personable people. They know how to be a people person. They know how to manipulate it and make everybody like. That's
Right.
the thing you always hear about when people find out somebody.
Although
was killing
I don't know
people.
if Fish was that personable, but we can. That's
Fish.
Albert Fish. Do you know him?
Which one did he do?
He was like a 1910s serial killer. He was like an old man.
Oh,
And well, maybe he was
a
nice.
little
to kill.
different back then. A little different.
He was a kid killer. He would like brag about.
Murdering children.
Yeah, I think he killed like 400 kids or something.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how it's been a while since I've seen his documentary. It's really good, but
But with this knowledge that we have now, like serial killers are usually personable
right.
and they're attractive and they like everybody like nobody suspects. None of the neighbors, he's always so nice to me.
Yeah.
That's what you hear. And then I meet people in real life and like everything's perfect. They're not overly attractive, but they're attractive. They're super nice. They know how to be like the likable person in the movie that dies to get a rise out of you.
Right.
To make it emotional. Like, they're
Right.
just like that, and they terrify me. I'm like, that's the serial killer, and people just love him.
What are you saying? You're like,
When
have
you
I ever
meet
met
these
someone?
people in real life,
I can't. I don't know.
the people that are never, like, unhappy.
Well, my thing is, I go into meeting any given person with the idea that everyone's carrying a shadow.
Yeah.
It's like,
but when you never see it,
well, you know that it's there.
scares me.
You just you meet people and you operate under the assumption that they do have it because they do. It's not something,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like if you meet someone and you're like, yeah, you're really nice and I can get along with you, but I know you have the most fucked up thoughts
Yeah.
because I do too, you know, and everyone else does. So it's like I don't know. I think that's kind of what that's what gives me the edge, guys. For real though, like you meet people and you just assume that they're terrible, but that helps you see the good in them, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, when we're all on the same page about it,
I don't know.
when you, like...
I'm saying I'm on that page. I operate under the assumption that people are good and bad. So,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
you got it all.
Yeah. So
I don't even know if it's good and bad. It's just
so
good and bad decisions.
another thing is too, then it leaves me in a good position to not be surprised when somebody I know
Yeah, it's
I
called-
know well enough to then turn out to be a real jerk.
It's called trust issues.
I guess so.
That's what that is.
No, well, I trust. You know, I trust you though.
Yeah.
I trust you, Drew. I've known Drew for 2.5 years, maybe. I think
Sure.
it's like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't hang out that often, but I know Drew well enough that I would trust him. But also, people are spontaneous. We're big meat sacks of chaos, and you never know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the trust part. That's the you never know. That's the not hanging.
But
your
I
hat
do
on
trust
anything.
you, you know? I
Yeah,
do trust you, and
to
if
an
you
extent.
let me down, I trust you with my life, Drew.
Oh, don't put that on me.
You take a bullet for me.
Hell,
You
what
would.
the fuck?
You
What?
would take a bullet for me.
Oh, I'm in an awkward position.
No, you wouldn't.
I'm not fast enough. That's the problem.
He's not quick enough.
No, I'm a big boy. I'm not diving in front of anybody.
Taking a bullet for somebody is a big ask.
That's a big ask.
It's a big
That's
ask.
a big ask. That is a
I don't know.
big-
Maybe I do have trust issues, but I don't have a hard time trusting people.
It's an odd line to toe. Because I definitely have trust issues. 100%. And abandonment issues in there, I'm sure. That's where most of it stems from.
I guess maybe I pick and choose what kind of tasks and responsibility I trust people with.
Yeah, I mean, there's just shit that you never share with anyone.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean you don't trust people, but we all keep stuff
Right.
to ourselves because we're just like, oh man. Whether
Yeah.
it's shame or just like that.
That's true.
And it's just no adult has that childlike trust of people.
Right.
It just isn't
Yeah.
around.
You're
Nobody's
right. You're right. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, at a baseline, I trust that you're not going to go kill all of my friends and family.
Yeah.
You know? But,
you can trust, like, oh, this person doesn't seem like they want to fuck me over.
yeah, I think this topic is a lot more nuanced than I'm making it out to be.
Yeah.
But in general, I have a pretty easy time just like trusting that you're not. I think that's my baseline, that you're not gonna fucking shank me when I have my back turned. You know what I mean? And that's, I guess, the baseline I operate under.
Yeah.
You know,
But that's like a pretty
standard,
high bar. Like, I guess it's a low bar.
right?
Because it's.
Yeah,
Like, I trust you won't murder me.
right.
Isn't the most like trusting
Right,
thing.
right, totally.
If it was like, you know, taking your girlfriend out, just the two of us. It's a different trust.
Yeah,
It's a different. Because you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, for that shadow to show. Like, where is it with this one?
right.
Is it women? Is it money? Is it. Where's this one? It's different trust.
Right.
It's different circumstances. It's, you know, I don't think you'll kill me, but would I start a business with you? Would I?
No, right. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, would I give you a gig? Would I pass you a gig to like come work with me, or
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
Would I take you into battle with me? It's different trust.
Right, it's different.
Like, I don't think you'll kill
There
me.
are
but
different
will you kill other
flavors of
people?
trust, guys. That's what we're trying to say. Different flavors of trust, and that's what Drew's helping me unveil. We're digging deep.
We're taking deep.
Call back to the first episode. I said in sophomore year I got really into philosophy, and hot damn was I a philosopher. Okay. And I left all that behind, and I'm coming back to it now, and here we are, Philosopher Kings.
Philosopher Cam. not
Andrew
philosopher.
Brooks, Evan Ho, here we go. Mini Socratic seminar. What were we talking about though? Serial killers? I trust that most people aren't serial killers. And you know why I think we don't have any serial killers these days. We're starved of our serial killers. It's because it's so hard to get away with murder.
I think they just got lazy.
What?
I think they got lazy.
Who?
Like a serial killing as an art. As an art was like
It is an art form.
stalk them, figure out their schedule, figure out how to manipulate them, get them on your side, get them to trust you, take them back to the house, fuck them and kill them. Now everybody just does mass shootings. So they're like, I don't need to kill 4 people night after night when I could get 60 in a row all at once. Like they just got lazy.
I guess so.
They started thinking about
What
quantity,
I'm
not
saying,
quality.
What I'm saying, what I'm saying is that it's so hard to get away with murder.
Oh, it's so hard.
It's so hard, and there's one thing forensic science has taught me. A lot of my friends, I talk about forensic science a lot when we talk about murder, but
I mean, it's in the...
yeah, with my friends was what I was saying. I'm saying that I talk about it a lot when I talk about murder. And in forensic science, the biggest rule was that every contact leaves a trace. Literally everything you make contact with leaves something behind.
Mm-hmm.
So like whether it be a shoe scuff or, a hair or whatever. Like how much information you can get from a single blood spatter. Like the trajectory...
Uh-huh.
At like which it splatters, how big the droplets are to determine like what kind of object they were hit with, whether it was blunt or sharp. Like if the blood splatters were really thin and like almost line like, it was like you could tell that was like an axe or a sword.
Mm-hmm.
or like
you ever seen somebody get hit with a sword?
I mean, not like...
I've gone deep.
Oh. Let's this is OLs. We can't talk about... I don't want to go dark web, because I think...
It's not dark web, it's just Reddit.
Reddit?
Yeah.
It's on the surface like that?
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
r/crazy fucking videos. Do not go there.
Don't go there.
Don't do it.
Please don't go there.
This is a disclaimer.
Don't go there.
Don't.
I've never...
However...
Drew has seen someone get slashed with a sword.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Terrible. That's terrible.
It's crazy.
War is awful, kids.
Oh, this wasn't war.
It's war of the mind.
This was an outside restaurant.
At an Applebee's, someone was getting...
No, it was in a
down?
different country.
Oh.
Because that's what happens when you take away guns.
Right. Yeah, honestly.
People gotta go to the mall.
Jesus.
They gotta go into those shops with incense holders and swords. And they're like, here it is.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, it's really hard to get away with murder, and that's why I think, even more so now with technological advances, I think it's just...
With everything. You have forensics, cameras.
I think that if you decide to be a serial killer, expect to be caught at some point.
But they want to be.
Do they?
Yeah, serial killers. They want the clout.
The clout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
right.
like,
They want to be famous, for the most part.
Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's OJ.
That's true.
Maybe OJ got the Louis Vuitton of murders. Because they're clout chasing.
He did get the Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, but he wasn't a serial killer. He just did 2 at once.
He is Gucci.
Yeah, like he got the Grail.
You
know?
He did for a while. He still holds the cup.
Dude, I want a white Bronco. Kidding me? That would be hilarious.
He holds the cup for sure.
Yeah. Like it was so serialized. The whole event.
Right.
Like afterwards, the
People
trial.
still talk about it, dude.
To this day.
Yeah.
Like
It
I
was-
wasn't around for it.
OJ was the 9/11 of serial killing. I mean, he's not a serial killer, but he is the 9/11 of murders. Tell me I'm wrong.
I suppose in a way. Yes.
Right?
But I don't think it shook the country.
You don't think?
No, I think white people were still like, one me. Like 9/11 was everybody, all at once,
Right.
and I think that's just like affluent people with OJ were just like, get the popcorn,
Right.
like let's watch this. Oh, the glove doesn't fit. Oh,
It's terrible.
pour me another Chardonnay.
Anyway, I don't know. What else you got going on?
What
Let's
else?
segue into something else. What
We
else
never
you been
even
getting
talked
into?
about stand-up.
Did we not?
No, we went off. It's fun.
Yeah, how is it?
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Now I'm new.
You still like to hang out after shows and like,
Shoot the shit, of course.
yeah.
100%.
Have you met any? So that's where we were talking about networking, and then we started talking.
Yeah, the networking. You know, people call it networking. You're just talking to people.
Yeah, you just talk to people.
You just become friends.
Have you met anybody?
Have I met anybody? Yeah. I mean, nobody big or anything, but like the people that book shows come to the mics and you talk to them, and a lot of the time it's other comedians and they just.
Like a month ago, you were telling me that. I think you told me that someone came up to you and was like, "Yo, that was sick."
Yeah.
Like someone.
It's a weird thing.
Someone worthwhile.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah, somebody that I respect. That might have been Danny Hooks.
Who's that?
Danny Hooks, he's been doing it a long time. He's one of like the 10-year type of people. He's been between here and Kentucky, I want to say mostly. Or Louisville. Yeah, I think Louisville specifically. He's been doing comedy a while. And very funny, very good. Just knows what he's doing. You know, been doing it a while.
I'll have to look at some of his stuff.
He's great. And he paid me some compliments after this last time. After this last mic.
Most recent one.
Yes.
He was there.
Oh yeah, he's there. His last one's next.
But you've
week.
been talking to him here and there.
Oh yeah.
What'd he say?
Well, I went up and I did a bit on why thin people can't gain weight. And, I mean, I don't want to sound like a bragger, but I did well.
Yeah.
I did really well. To
What
the
was-
point that, like, when I got off stage, I had the jitters because of how much energy was being thrown back.
It's what's the word? I don't know. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, like it was electric.
Yeah.
In there.
Electric.
Yeah,
for
the
sure.
energy was just insane.
Hell yeah. Well, what was the bit? What's the bit?
Oh, I can't burn material like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, essentially the bit is telling thin people why they can't gain weight, but talking about it like somebody who's trying to get thin or an inspirational speaker. And like, the whole essence of it is that thin people won't put away their pride, and that's why they can't gain weight.
Oh.
That's the angle.
Uh-huh.
And it just did really, really well. Really well. Just they
Full
put me up
house.
5th. Yeah, so there was a good 40 people in there.
So
which
what
is
did he say,
fantastic
though?
for an open mic. I get off stage, and I have the jitters.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to head outside. I need to decompress.
Right.
After that, because
Yeah,
it was
decompress.
probably the best I've done.
Totally. Oh, really?
Yeah.
It just keeps getting better, Drew.
Yeah, it was to the point where it was scream laughs,
Yes.
which is something different.
That's
Just
so
pure
nice.
magic.
That's so nice, dude. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, I sound like a cunt.
No, you don't. You really don't. You
I'm
sound.
trying to handle this
No,
tactfully.
dude, it's nice. You don't
just-
sound like a. You don't sound like a. He doesn't sound
Dad.
like a cunt, Dad. Dad, sorry. I have to start saying sorry to my dad and all of my aunts. He doesn't sound like a cunt. You sound like you're enjoying yourself. and
I
that's
am.
fine. Yeah.
I am. And I go outside to decompress, and people followed me out,
No,
other comics, to talk to me about,
you're set.
yeah.
That's great.
And they paid me, they were super nice, and they paid me compliments, and
And one of them was
Danny, yeah, he was like, that's not supposed to happen before a year in comedy. I don't know how you figured this out, how you've been picking it up like this.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's,
And oh no, that's a lot to take on as a
yeah.
rookie.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's
Have you seen Winning Time?
No.
The rise of the LA Lakers dynasty?
No.
And just how everybody talks about, talks to Magic Johnson?
Oh.
Young Magic Johnson as a rookie, and it's just this weird...
I have the Magic Johnson of
No,
comedy.
no.
And here he is.
No, God, no. I don't get that much pussy.
Dad, I'm sorry. I apologize
No, I am not the Magic Johnson of comedy. As much as they want to make it out to be. I mean, the first thing is it's one open mic where I did really well. That's the first thing to take into consideration. Second of all, it is a lot. Like, it's just a lot.
Yeah, well, that feels good, man.
It does. It does. It feels good when people compliment you like that, but they scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It's just so, like, I really just wanted to just, like, give me a moment. And he followed me out to tell me how well I did, which I really respect him, and I appreciate it, and I love it. And then somebody else showed up.
Well, you gonna start
Another
opening?
person
Showed
up. And
Sorry, go ahead.
it was a little bit of a snowball, and then it was over, and it was great. And then the end of the mic came, and everybody was outside talking shit, and I walked into a circle, and we were like, we were just singing your praise. You've been doing this like 4 or 5 months, which is how long I've been going there. But I've been
You've been doing it for a while.
8, 9, right around there, I think. 8, 9 months. And like one of the comics who's a host at the open mic, he's been doing this a while too. He was like, I didn't get there before I was a year and a half, and I was like, if y'all keep talking like this, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
Like it's like my issue.
We're just hanging out, dude.
Yeah, my issue, and it sounds so braggarty, but my issue is when people try to make you feel special. Somebody told me I should feel special. Like, they specifically said that, and I don't like it. I don't actually think anyone's special. Not...
Drew, I just cut you off for a second. I relate to that heavily.
I think everyone has talent.
Yes. I agree.
But if everyone has $2, no one has $2. That sort of thing. Like, I think everyone has talent. It's just whether you're willing to use it.
I will throw a bone and say that it can be incredibly rare for some people, given certain circumstances, for them to fall into a space where they can cultivate said talent.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Hard.
of us... I think luck
Plays
is
a role
real.
in everything.
Yeah, I think luck is real, and
I mean,
it's like kind of a medium take on that, but
medium take.
you know, but I relate. Now the flip is script,
Mm-hmm.
because I relate to how you're feeling on that, because I've definitely been in situations, like at parties or something. I'll play music where a lot of people are like, fucked up or whatever, and they'll, come up to me and be like, "That was crazy. You should be."
God,
Yeah,
what the
like,
fuck?
yeah, and it's like,
Oh.
okay, dude, we're just hanging out, and
Yeah, it's just work.
but also there might be something wrong with us too.
Yeah,
like
okay.
it is nice to receive
Oh,
praise,
100%.
and I think
I like praise, but like, all I wanted was just someone to be like, "You're a good comic," like that. Just
right,
leave it at that.
right? Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the reality sometimes.
I know. Parents used to do.
Well,
this
you can
to me.
set your boundaries. It's like, all right, we're hanging.
Yeah,
out.
I got there. I was like, all right, right, we need to chill.
yeah. Right.
Chill the fuck out. This
Yeah,
is not.
and that's fine.
It's just weird for people to, when they see something that they deem good, to just like, they want to put out there to you how much they appreciated it, which isn't bad. It's just an odd human thing.
Yeah.
To
Well, especially when you
ooze.
on the inside feel like you're an absolute asshole. You're like, dude, I'm a jerk.
Oh, me
You know
too,
what I mean?
100%.
I'm a freaking jerk on the inside.
Me too.
And I'm there for my friends. I'm loyal and I do what I can. But like, I think that's a big part of it too, is when people are paying compliments to me, and in my head I'm like, dude, I've been judging you all day. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that's another part of it too. It's just like, I didn't think you could do this.
Right.
Like, that's where this stems from. Like, these
Right.
amazing compliments people give, and this is an awful negative take on
It's
this.
terrible.
This is an awful
It's
negative
terrible.
take. But it does stem from, like, I never thought you'd be able to do that.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. But I try to balance that out. I think we talked about it one time in our kitchen, in my kitchen. It's like I'm stepping away from the mic a little bit, but at the end of the day, everyone's trying their best in their own little way.
No, they're not. These people are not. Listen, I'm bitter because I go to open mics every night. And I can tell you they're not trying their best. Some of these people. Some of them are. Some of them really are.
Well,
some of them have
I'm not in the scene, but it's like really easy, not just in open mics, for people to get really diluted in their abilities and like be super overconfident after not putting in the hours to actually do what they're doing.
Just be like, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like
the work in.
Yeah. That's and that, you know, but on the same side of that coin, like they're out there doing it, whatever it is.
Yeah,
and
which is
so
more than most can
so
say.
with whatever tools that they have besides what they're lacking, they're trying their best in that regard. You know, they're still doing something, you know what I mean? And that goes not just for comedy or any kind of like art form or trade or whatever. It's like some people only have the tools to be who they are, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? And then they still wake up every day and live and look for a meal. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's kind of the perspective that balances out me being a total dickhead. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I mean, some of them just shouldn't. No, that's not fair. Don't do no. Yeah. Everybody has their values and serves their purpose to an ecological system.
Yeah, more or less, I guess.
But there are, you know, it's just a lot of like different ways to take on any task. And with comedy, I think the biggest thing, I think in Louis C.K.'s heyday, I think it was a little problematic, not for what he did. That's a different story.
Right.
But because he's just one of those people that just had it.
Yeah.
And figured it out and did it a long time and put the work in, but he talked a lot about like writing on stage.
Yeah.
Like he just goes up.
He still talks about that.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Not Louis C.K.
Right.
It's not how this works.
Right. And you're saying that people will go up on stage and try to do that.
Yeah, and just think that they'll be able
that's
to
the diluted, that's the
audience laugh.
Yeah.
But it's such a different beast.
Right.
In the conversation, it's easy. In general, with people, I think it's pretty easy for the general, just as a sweeping generalization, people in general are more willing to give up laughs and humor if they know that what just came out of your mouth, what you just thought of, was in that moment. Which is why crowd work in stand-up works so well. Because they're like, oh, they couldn't have come up with that because it's a thing that happened right now.
Right.
So it's way funnier than some prepared bits.
Right.
Because the prepared bits people expect to be of high caliber.
Right.
They're more willing to give low standards for stuff they know just happened. Which is why conversations are so much easier or natural when it comes to humor. And to think it's the same thing. To go up on a stage and do the same thing where you have a conversation and you're going to make an entire room of people laugh the way you make your friend laugh when you talk.
Right.
Is not at all the same. Because, A, it's just you. And one of the biggest parts to a funny conversation is the other person and bouncing things off of each other and riffing and chemistry. Stand-up, you have to essentially have a one-sided conversation.
Right.
Tap into an audience and go, this is what they're going to think at this point, so this is the direction I need to go with this tag or this punchline.
Right.
Whether it's leaning in or subversion. But you have to get it down, you have to tighten it, you have to cut the fat, you got to chew on it.
That's the kind of nuance that terrifies me.
With stand-up?
Yeah.
It's not bad, and it's one of the easiest
it sounds
things
intuitive
to get into.
if you're getting, like, I mean, do you get nervous doing crowd work?
During crowd work?
Doing it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, same amount of nerves for any stage presence. Crowd work is definitely risky.
Right.
Because if it doesn't work, it's just flat.
But you feel it coming on. If you're willing to take the risk, generally I would assume that you read someone or you see someone, you kind of see something forming with some person or a group of people in the audience, and then you can kind of just flow into it intuitively instead of just
talk to them,
actively seeking it out while you're like stalling on some bit, you know?
Sometimes there's stuff like that. There's definitely stuff like that. Like I was in a room once, I was at an open mic, and there were a bunch of Austrian people that had showed up to the open mic, and there was this group of like bros, like bros,
Austrian bros?
No,
or
separate group,
yeah.
and these bros that had showed up, they were like Vineyard Vines bros.
Yeah, they're definitely bros.
So I was like, man, this open mic racist as hell. I got the Proud Boys up front and the Nazis over there talking about the Austrians.
Yeah,
and they oohed at the Austrians being called Nazis.
The boys.
The Austrians.
The Austrians.
The Proud Boys they loved.
The Austrians oohed at being called Nazis.
The whole audience oohed at the Austrians being called Nazis. Like,
I feel like it would have been worse if the Austrians were like, ooh.
No, I asked them after that too because I was doing crowd work. I was like, y'all ever get tired of getting called Nazis at open mics? And they were like, oh yeah, you Canadian. And I was like, you just called me... I called you a Nazi. I called you a Nazi. You called me a nice person. You're bad at this. But
it went over well? Or?
Yeah. I mean, it went over well, and then I got into the material. And the nice thing about that is I had done this bit that's racially charged.
Okay.
And it has a punchline that is just, towing the line of, like, risky stuff to say.
Sure.
Because it's fun.
But it worked. You're an edgy comic.
No, I'm just normal. And it worked, and then I was like, see, I told you this audience was racist, and then that worked.
Nice.
Because the precipice that was set with the crowd work.
Uh-huh.
So there's moments like that where it just works out, and then there's sometimes where you just get a fucking flat idiot. You just get a flat idiot that doesn't give it up. That doesn't give you anything to follow with crowd work when you're asking them questions. Because it's kind of like straight manning in improv.
Right.
And when somebody does something or they say something, you start asking questions to find something to be funny with.
Right.
And sometimes you just get just an idiot that just doesn't understand.
Are they an idiot, or are they just like super nervous and insecure that you're gonna make fun of them?
You get those people too. Usually you can pull yourself out with just making fun of them for being nervous.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about flat, soulless individuals that have no personality.
Right. And they have
fucking bathroom stalls of people.
Yeah.
It's just, and then you just fall flat. And you just gotta move on.
And you're like, all right.
Well, whatever.
Anyway. Yeah.
And you can make fun of them, but if you don't want to alienate, it's just stuff to think about when you're on the mic. Crowd work's
Do you
fun.
think you'll end up opening for somebody soon?
Soon? Probably not.
How does that work? I don't know. You have to wait for somebody to ask you, or what?
Yeah, usually.
Essentially.
I mean, I'm booked on shows, but they're the local shows.
You don't want to be the guy who's like, can I open for you, dude?
Yeah.
Please.
Nobody really wants to be that.
Right.
Kind of. Like, there's people who are like, let me do it. And then there's sometimes where you just reach out to a booker and be like, how do I get on? Like,
Right.
that's pretty common to just like, hey, I know you have a comedy club. I live 2 hours away, so I'm never around.
Right.
Here's a video of a really good set. Like, this is what I can do. Send it to them and go, what can I do to get on? And, have a conversation. The business side of the conversation. No, I've been just trying to get the shows under the belt with the people around here. And
I respect that a lot.
I have one coming up, and then I was asked a few times at the mic Thursday, the last one that I did. I was a couple people approached me and asked if they could put me on, and I was like, yeah.
Well, Drew.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
An
hour and 14, dude. Hot damn.
74 minutes.
That's a lot of minutes.
That's a lot of minutes.
Thanks for coming on.
Part 2 coming soon.
We're gonna record it right now. Catch me on the Patreon. I don't have a Patreon.
Yoho.patreon.com.
Yoho Addicts.
Yoho Addicts?
/
You gonna go with Addicts?
No.
Just
No.
call them
No
hoes.
one-
It's right there. It's right there. It's right in front of you. They're hoes. Your fans are hoes.
Most hoes are addicts.
Ooh.
That's not.
That's a take.
That's terrible, dude.
And addicted to what?
Love.
I'm not letting this one go.
They're addicted to love.
They're addicted to feeling
And
good
I have a
about
lot of love to
themselves.
give.
They're addicted to feeling good about themselves through the power of sex.
And love.
No.
I've got a lot of love to give, guys. And thanks for listening.
And a lot of dick,
Not too much.
Dad.
Dad, I'm sorry. Anyway, not too much. Not too much of that.
Should just call this Dad, I'm sorry.
Dad, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna call this episode Dad, I'm sorry.
We found the title. Whoa, we're like real podcasters.
Well, I was gonna call it Drew the Journalist.
No.
Yeah, which I had that passing thought, and I was like, that's terrible, that's dumb. But thanks
Dad,
for
I'm sorry.
thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely.
And I love to have you on again.
Oh, I'll be back.
And it's nice to do this with somebody.
This is a fun time.
Again, I'm sorry, and good night.